Hi, welcome back to the workshop for what is a really momentous day in the Firebird build, because today we're going to break out the spray gun and get it finished. Okay, so the time has finally come. Let's get this thing into finish. And we've got a couple of little jobs that we need to do before we can get the finish onto this. So I'm going to tackle those and then we can actually talk about what the finish is going to be, because of course we haven't discussed that yet. So the first thing we need to do is just give this a quick flash over, just to get rid of any kind of raised grain or anything that the grain filling process might have brought about. It feels nice and smooth, but you never know. So all I'm going to do, I've got a 400 grit pad here. I'm just going to give it a very quick rub over. Then of course we need to mask off the fretboard so we don't get lacquer all over that. And we need to put a hook in so that we can hang it up. But apart from that, I think we're pretty much good to go. Okay, so that's all the prep done now. It's all masked off and rubbed down nice and smooth, ready to go. So that kind of only leaves one question unanswered, and that is, what is the finish going to be? Now, I've said all along that this obviously isn't going to be a solid colour, because we don't want to hide all the work that we've done to get these lovely stripes running through the build. And that only really left me with two options that I would be happy with. The first option would be a cherry red finish, but I did do a little bit of a sample a little while ago and I didn't like it, so that's not going to happen. So that leaves me with the one remaining choice, and that is a tobacco sunburst. Now, having looked at a lot of Firebirds recently, and believe me, during the course of this build I have spent an awful long time looking at Firebirds. To me, the tobacco sunburst on a Firebird actually looks like a black sunburst. So to do that, I've got tin of black nitrocellulose and I've got a tin of clear nitrocellulose. So all I'm going to do is put a black sunburst around the edge and into the heel area, and then everything else is just going to get multiple coats of clear gloss lacquer until I'm happy with the finish. However, before I do that, I'm going to lay down one coat of clear first, just to kind of seal everything. And should I mess up the black terribly, it gives me a chance of rubbing back into that clear coat to kind of take that black away. So with that established, it's time to get spraying. But regular viewers might be saying, hold on a minute, where's the plastic? Why isn't the shed dexterized? Well, I've got a little surprise. Now this is something I said all along I wanted to do by the time we got to spray this build. However, I didn't realise how much hard work it was going to actually be to get it done. But I've only gone and built myself a spray booth. And what I've actually done is I've created this little foldy flap that folds out from the wall to separate this section of the workshop off a little bit. I'm also, at some stage, I'm going to finish it off and put like a ceiling part that will go across to the wall, but I haven't had a chance to do that. And then behind this little unfinished and very rough looking section of filter material, there's a 12-inch explosion proof fan. It plugs in there and creates me a little spray booth. And there's a temporary little hook from the ceiling that I can hang the guitar off. And I tested this out last night and it worked really, really well. It got all of the overspray, got all of the fumes out of the workshop very, very quickly. You could barely smell the lacquer. So I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant. And it will save me loads of time because I won't have to cover everything down in polythene, and I won't have to kind of clean the entire workshop every time that I spray a guitar. But then when I've done with it, just fold it away, move the old bandsaw back in front of it, and we're up and running again. So I'm really happy with that. I think that is a really, really good improvement to the workshop. Okay, enough talking. Let's get some mixing and spraying done. And there we have the finished item. Obviously It's going to need some polishing up and rubbing down, but on the whole I think it's come out really, really nice. To the naked eye it looks a little bit darker than it's shown in these images, but that might just be the lighting in the workshop. But I think it is worth bearing in mind that we need to get all of the hardware onto this, and once that's on, I think that's going to lighten the look up no end. I think the back of the neck and the headstock just looks absolutely stunning, and that volute is even sexier if I thought that was possible with a bit of lacquer on it. And I think the contrast between the wood and the wenge is good as well, and the headstock needs a little bit of sanding down. I think I might have got it on a little bit thick at one stage, but I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. So really, really happy about that. However, we need to leave this now to cure, and realistically I need to leave it to 3 or 4 weeks to cure properly. Now that's always presented something of a problem to me on these builds, because it means I need to find something to film in that time to continue to make videos for you guys. However, I've got an opportunity this time round, because as I've mentioned before, I am in the Great Guitar Build Off 2022. I haven't started and the deadline is drawing ever nearer. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put this aside now for a few weeks to cure up properly. If you're watching in real time, it means there's going to be a gap in this build. If you're watching in 2 years' time, don't worry, you'll be fine. But what I'm going to do in the intervening time is I'm going to start work on my Great Guitar Build Off build. So I'll be starting a separate series for that. And I need to get as much work on that done as I can in the time this is going to take to cure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing a video a day on the Great Guitar Build Off until I'm ready to drop back onto this. Hopefully in that time I can make a great deal of progress on that build and we can get that well onto track for completion by the deadline. So I'll leave this episode here, and like I say, I'll be back in a few days' time, even if it isn't on this build. So as always, like if you've liked, subscribe if you haven't already done so, especially so you don't miss out on all the episodes that are going to be coming thick and fast in the next few weeks. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.